I'll show this one to you. The statement that was sent via email from the Big 12. Big 12 announces public reprimand and fine of Utah Athletic Director Mark Harlan. In accordance with the Big 12 conference sportsmanship policies, the conference has issued a public reprimand of University of Utah's Director of Athletics, Mark Harlan, for his actions at the conclusion of the game against BYU and his comments following the game. Additionally, he will be issued a $40,000 fine. Harlan has been informed that a repeat of such behavior will result in a more serious penalty. Quote, Mark's comments irresponsibly challenge the professionalism of our officials and the integrity of the Big 12 conference, said Commissioner Brett Yormark. There is a right way and a wrong way to voice concerns. Unfortunately, Mark chose the wrong way. Accordingly, this violation warrants a public reprimand and financial penalty. The Big 12 prioritizes professionalism, integrity, and fairness and will continue to do so. The Big 12 conference will have no further comment on this issue. Well, look, I like a swift, stern, strong response from Brett Yormark. I imagined that was coming. Brett Yormark does not seem to me to be a guy that's going to take a lot of crap from anybody. And he also, being a businessman, look how deeply indebted is gambling into sports right now. It is pretty deep. That is definitely an avenue that a lot of leagues can go to try and find some extra money. And you don't want anybody to be questioning the integrity of your game, have any questions about like any of this rigged, refs in on the take. You can't have anybody in your league publicly questioning that. You got to squash that hard and fast. And Brett Yormark did. So good for him on that. Kudos to him for that. We got a response. Let's find our response here from Mark Harlan. He, to his credit, at least came back around, walked it back a little bit after all that. He says, last night following our game against BYU, I made clear my feelings related to the game officiating. However, I recognize there are more appropriate times and avenues to express those concerns, and I accept the consequences of my decision. My comments came after having just left our team locker room, where our student athletes were hurting and upset. The University of Utah is proud to be a member of the Big 12 Conference. You hear that, guys? University of Utah is proud to be a member of the Big 12 Conference. And we look forward to working with our peers to continue to enhance the league. BYU, Coach Sataki, and their coaches and student athletes are having a terrific season, and we wish them the very best. Well, thank you, Mark. Very kind of you. Thank you. Remember, of course, this is the same Mark Harlan that once upon a time responded to my tweet saying we are not leaving, referencing Utah not leaving the Pac-12. They did. They had to. And also was questioning me calling USC basically like the flagship program of the Pac-12. So Mark Harlan's not a guy that's been afraid to mix it up on Twitter a little bit before. He's let those Twitter fingers get the better of him, showing that he is just one of us. But the problem, Mark, is when you're an athletic director and you get that paycheck to run an entire athletic department, you gotta be a little bit better at reining in those emotions than the rest of us, than just your average fans. So that's where it sits, man. That's where it all is. I am curious to see what the reaction from all you guys has been, because I see all the super chats that are in there. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. All right, Eddie. Hey, buddy, watching or waiting on my Marine buddies. What's up, Eddie, by the way? I'm disappointed with Utah. I think Washington State would love to trade places. Happy birthday, Marines. Love the Big 12. Good games all around. Yes, happy Veterans Day to everybody. Thank you to you, Eddie, all your buddies for your service and your sacrifice. Let's see. So, yeah, the Wazoo. I've seen some of that from people like, hey, the Wazoo swap here. I don't know. I saw Utah fans proclaiming they have options here. Okay, knock yourself out. Have fun in the Mountain West or the Pac-12. I'm sure they would probably say, hey, well, the ACC, there is a Cal fan who comes around anytime something comes up with Utah and says, well, Utah's going to wind up in the ACC. You signed the grant of rights, right? That was a whole news cycle at one point over the summer. You signed the grant of rights. I mean, have fun with that. Have fun with whatever the price tag would be trying to get out for a lateral move to the ACC. I guess if Utah really thinks that they've got that and that is worth their time, no, fine. We'll see. I'm not sure that Utah is in that position to have that many options. So I don't think it will happen, Eddie, but it is funny you mentioned that, because obviously Wazoo is a much better football team this year. Just ask Texas Tech. Just ask Texas Tech, man. Wazoo is a pretty good team this year. Guy from Utah, appreciate you, Guy from Utah, says, in the end, I don't think the refs were trying to influence the game. I mean, they weren't. They're doing their job. There was, who I just found this on Twitter right before I came on, longtime veteran NFL official Terry McAulay, who was an NFL ref for 20 years. He was a referee in 3 Super Bowls and is the rules analyst for NBC and Amazon. He looked at the penalty that was called against Utah and called it, quote, an obvious foul that has, quote, always been a foul. Give credit to Robbie McCombs from Vanquish the Foe, who had that story. But yeah, Terry McAulay said, obvious foul has always been a foul. That is the professional opinion of somebody who has refereed 3 Super Bowls. Just putting that out there. Sure, that will really appease Utah fans. Eddie says, we in the Big 12 understand Texas used to get calls all the time. Play better defense and better offense. Utah is not Texas. They're not, but Utah has definitely taken over the mantle, Eddie, of kind of acting like Texas. Utah has taken over the mantle of trying to act like they are the ones that are better than this whole place. The problem is Utah does not have a tenth the brand clout that Texas does. That's just the reality. They don't have any of that. So, or the money, by the way, that Texas does. So a lot of the things that can lead to bullying your way into getting what you want do not exist, unfortunately, for the Utes. Sorry about that, Utah. So yeah, I agree with you there. Eddie. And as far as getting calls, boy, Mark Harlan is going to love going to Allen Fieldhouse. Have fun in Allen Fieldhouse. Now, I don't know. Utah's probably going to be losing that game by 50, but have fun in Allen Fieldhouse when you go there and experience what it's like trying to get calls there. Guy from Utah, can you break down where Texas Tech lost control of the game against Colorado for those of us who couldn't watch it? Yeah, I'll tell you exactly where Texas Tech lost that game. It was the couple of possessions when Colorado was scuffling in the first half and Tech's offense couldn't take advantage. They had to settle for a couple of field goals, and then after that, a couple of punts. And that was it. Like in the first half, Colorado was definitely a little bit rattled by the atmosphere there. I mean, Texas Tech, I knew that would be a good atmosphere. Those of you who listened to my interview on college football addiction about that game, I pointed it out. I was like, look, Colorado played in a great environment at Nebraska. It seemed to rattle them early, and then they got settled down a little bit, but they still lost the game. This will be a comparable environment. Probably not on that level. It's not as big as Nebraska. I've been to both. Nebraska is a tougher environment, I think. But Tech, when it's charged up, it's going to be close. And they, I think, had Colorado pretty rattled. You saw some frustrations. Travis Hunter at one point was kind of yelling at Shedeur. So there were frustrations there. But Texas Tech could not put their foot on the throat. Multiple opportunities to do so. And I said so at the time. I remember tweeting that. Like, man, they're going to figure it out eventually. Colorado's a good enough offense. They will figure it out eventually. Plus Tech's a bad enough defense. Like, that's going to click at some point. You better give yourself a nice runway. And Tech did not give themselves enough of a runway. So that to me was the real issue for Texas Tech in that game. Eddie, happy birthday, USMC. Yes, I would echo that along with the Veterans Day comment from earlier. So thank you for bringing attention to that, Eddie. If any of you guys need a real estate agent in San Antonio, you know who to call. Eddie Lozano, San Antonio Real Estate. Guy from Utah. Thank you so much, Guy from Utah. Guy from Utah says, we can all agree that all of us are so lucky that John Kurtz is into the Big 12 because you are by far the best podcaster in college football. Man, Guy from Utah, you are far too kind. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We're lucky to have you. I even like K-State now. Well, that is the best compliment you could give me. If I could just pass on the gospel of the good word of EMA, I am very honored to do so. So thank you, Guy from Utah. Love the Big 12, man. Love the Big 12. We have a ton of people in here. So let me just reiterate. A lot of people from Twitter, a lot of people on YouTube. If you are a Big 12 fan and you share even a tenth, I'll use that again, a tenth of the opinion of Guy from Utah about my work, and you want Big 12 news straight to your inbox 3 times a week for free, cutting through all the Big 10 and SEC crap, you get college football news and how it affects the Big 12 straight to your inbox 3 times a week. Just go to ofbnews.com to subscribe to the Open for Business Big 12 newsletter. 2,800 plus Big 12 fans already do. It's ofbnews.com, or just click the link in the description of the video if you're on YouTube. If not, very easy, ofbnews.com to get subscribed and signed up to that. Totally free.